Hey guys, this is Shanks and welcome back to another One Piece Bounty Rush video. So in this video, okay, as you guys know, we might or might not get like the return of Shanks or Blackbeard. So like ever since the launch of Shanks and Blackbeard, right, they have been such a cancer that holy, they just destroy the whole game, man. So like I just wanted to like make another ultimate, like make a video on how to basically make your life easier against Shanks, I guess. Like I'm not sure, to be honest, how useful is this thing for, but let's say if you find it useful, definitely give this video a thumbs up and just let me know in the comment section that it's quite useful, like which part of it is useful. So I put together, I'll say everything you need to know to counter Shanks, and components like this include his normal attacks, how to deal with it, then about his skill 1, the super annoying counter, then skill 2, and lastly would be the some things to take note and some behavioral for behaviors that Shanks always mostly they will show. Yeah, then I think without further, let's just get started, shall we? Okay, so his normal attacks is pretty much I think you guys already know it's about 5 hits or so to 6. Then here, okay, if you can perfect dodge it, sure. If you can't, basically how you want to break away from the normal attacks is to get away, to just like dodge after the third, kind of a third, fourth hit. Basically the first part will be just how to perfect dodge, a bit on the dodging the skill 2. So very, very important. You just, if you know it's coming, you can literally just dodge it. It's very, very easy. Like I'm pretty sure most of you guys are already proficient in it. So he used his normal attacks. But the thing about it is, I dodged in a direction away from the normal attacks. So and I wasn't super close to him when he started his normal attack chain. So I was able to dodge away pretty easily, and after that follow up with the bait out the counter by using one normal attack and then continue with my skill. So yeah, there's kind of that for the first part. This part has this. You'll see that later. I'll go through some of the points, and you can see it being executed in this video as this short clip as well. But let's just move on to the next part of the normal attacks. So this part is basically how you should like deal with his normal attacks. So when you start using your normal attacks, if you're not that close, right, what you can do is you can just wait out and like go in when you see an opening. As you can see later here, right, basically for the croc, what I will do is I'll just wait. Like he's gonna start with his normal attack, so anyone can counter his normal attacks. Take a look at this. I just wait a while and then I just move in with my normal attacks. It doesn't matter if your normal attacks is slower or faster like Kizaru. Just make sure you give it time to wind up. Like let him move towards you and your normal attack hitbox will hit him. So just take note of something like that. Then after that, right, what you can see continuing here is basically me baiting out his counter by just tricking him, you know. Like later I'll explain that some ways to bait out the counter, but this is one of the ways. So you pretend that you're running and literally you just suddenly you turn towards him and he'll just be like, oh wait, that guy suddenly the guy want to fight. Then he just use his counter. But then after that will be just another part of it is wait for the counter timing to expire and just go for the skill. So just that's kind of that. Then next we'll be moving on to the skill 1, which is his counter ability. The next part is this counter, and basically there's some ways you can counter it. So obviously you can counter, like if you know that your teammate is gonna feed and they're gonna activate the counter, you can make it so that you can perfect counter the like Shanks counter. So that is, I wouldn't say it's that easy, but yeah, it kind of works. Like if you know your teammate is using his skill and the opponent, the Shanks is already he's gonna counter, then you just dodge. Then you can 100% kind of dodge that. Other way is to basically in this video where you see what you do is you dodge the failed counter. So the shorter hit where, okay, he counters and then you dodge it. So this will ensure you get a shield. And the bad thing about this one is because if you perfect dodge it, right, and because you used up your dodge, he still has his dodge. So if you use your perfect dodge and you use your normal attacks, he will perfect dodge you and he will just continue attacking you. So that could be kind of bad. But if you needed to, if you are, let's say you're super low on HP and you just wanted to try your luck on using your skill, you can definitely try this thing out. So another way to counter this failed counter is I'm gonna show you in a while. The next tip I kind of want to say it's a super hard thing to execute, but I'll say like you have a 50-50 chance of executing if you know how to do it. So this thing, it was originally found by the Japanese players. Then basically when you fail your counter, that short swing, it does not have nullify stagger. So what Shanks say when he use counter is Konosenso Owara, damn it, something. But what you want to know is you want to start using your normal attacks when he say Konosen So. Like when you hear the so thing, right, you want to start pressing your normal attacks, because things like this, it varies from different characters, and like some characters have slower attacks. So I feel like you need to find out the sweet spot for you to use your normal attack. So this time I'm using Dofi, and also the thing to take note of is it doesn't work for some range character, because range character first hit doesn't really stagger. So yeah, just take note of this. Just watch this video, guys. Okay. So I'm just gonna play again. So if you guys didn't catch it, right? Konosen So, then I click and I attack him. So this honestly is not easy to work. Like basically one way to try it, to test it, to master it, is to play the solo mission where there's this Shanks board to keep practicing your counter. Then just make sure you time it. Like I said, different characters have different normal attack speed. So this Konosen So trick is only, I feel like it's only for Dofi and maybe some other similar attack speed to him. So if you can master this, bro, Shanks counter is, if you can bait out the counter and you can make use of this, Shanks is dead meat, bro. The next one is basically wait at range. So in the first, at the clock clip that you see just now, right, what I did was I bait out the counter, then I get out of his failed counter attack range and I go for the opportunity to use my skill. So that is another tip for the for how to, because the thing is, while if Shanks fails counter, he will go on to the counter slash, and that is where he is quite vulnerable because he doesn't really have the immortality. So just make sure you land your skill there, and depending on how slow your ability is, the cast time, you might want to cast it earlier or later, something like that. One tip when facing against Shanks counter is if you see your teammates are near you, right, try not to group up together, because when you group up, something bad is gonna happen. Like one of you guys will mess up the counter and everybody will die. Yeah. Then okay, let's just move on to the next part where we'll be talking about baiting the counter. So baiting the counter, the first thing I want to say is there's a lot of ways you can bait out the counter, but I'm just gonna state two. So the first one is the one where I said that you can pretend to run away and you suddenly turn around, move towards him, don't attack at all. That some Shanks are not that smart enough to realize it's a bait and they'll just use their counter. Then next is to use your first hit normal attack as the bait. And let me just play the clip right now. Okay, just now I said that what you can do is use one hit of your normal attack to bait out the counter. So one thing to take note of is you can do it two ways. Either you hit him once, but that has a risk of basically he counters, he anyhow guess that you're gonna attack him. Or number two is you can just hit the air, because the thing is, the air does not really guarantee. It has a lower chance of baiting the counter if like depending on the character itself, but it's a much safer way because you would get, like, even if you fail to bait the counter out, right, you won't die. The first way, like basically when you actually strike a first hit on him, it's bad because sometimes the Shanks will just lucky press counter and just nice you counter, you attack, and that's all. That's it, you did. So here you'll see that I use my first hit to bait out the Shanks counter. Okay, so here I bait out the counter and that's all. Just very simple. Just attack the air in front of him, then they'll just be like, oh no, this guy is gonna attack, and just like counter. That's all. Then okay, next will be the skill 2. Skill 2 wise, right, things to take note of is obviously your team, as a team, right, you don't want to group up together because you don't want everybody to die, to fail the counter. But what many people don't really think of is use this opportunity to bait out Shanks' skill 2, because if you know he is gonna use skill 2 and you have a decent chance of perfect dodging it, why shouldn't you take the chance? Like, you don't want where you are fighting someone and suddenly he just comes in with the skill 2. You want him to waste his skill 2 thinking, oh my god, there's 4 person, I'm gonna get a fat skill 2, and every single one of you perfect dodge it. Then they'll be like, oh, rip. Then better than when you are fighting an opponent, the opponent make you use a dodge, then the Shanks come in with the skill 2. That is just stupid. So you can try to bait the Shanks to use his skill 2, because yeah, that's just one thing to take note of. Next is perfect dodging it. So in the initial clip of the Kuma, the perfect dodging it, if you play long enough, it comes with practice, and it's honestly quite easy to perfect dodge. If you need practice, go to the solo missions where there's the Shanks bot, and the Shanks bot will also use skill 2. Then the thing is, the Shanks bot doesn't really do that much damage, so you can kind of retry until you get it right. So next is, don't waste your dodge. If you know there's a Shanks on the field, don't anyhow use your dodge just to get... Okay, I get that using your dodge, you can cover more ground, you can go and capture more flags, and all's good. But a lot of the times when I see, when I'm playing other characters, I see people using their dodge just to get faster. I just use my skill. Simple. They just die. So yep. Then just something to take note of. Like, this is like a habitual mistake. Like, a lot of people will just, oh, I have dodge, I'm just gonna use it to move. And I do it sometimes too. Like, and the thing is, at least you wanna do it right. Make sure you know that you're not within range of the opponent's Shanks skill 2. Then you can use it. Okay? So just take note of that. And that's kind of that for the skill 2. Honestly, you guys know how disgusting the range is. There isn't too much you can do against it besides like perfect dodging it. Make sure you are prepared for it. And the skill 2 honestly have a really long cooldown, so you don't really have to keep track of it as much as the skill 1. So yep. Then let's just move on to the last part, where it's basically things to take note of and how are some of the behaviors for the Shanks. Okay, the next tip is basically when Shanks kills someone, he will recover his skill 1 by half. I think most of you guys already know, but for those who actually don't know, yeah, this is how you can see. As you can see, the moment I kill 2 or more, I just get back my skill 1. So very important, because when you try to fight against the Shanks, right, take a look at the kill feed. Like, see how many people he killed. Then it helps you further predicting whether he still has his counter or not, which is super important. So yeah, next, let's just go on. Another tip is always assume he has counter before you go into a fight with him, unless you see that he used his counter. So if you watch my streams or when I play, I will usually, when I go to Shanks, I'll just be like, I think this guy has his counter. Then I will try to go and bait out the counter first, unless I'm certain that he doesn't really have any counter, or yeah, he just doesn't. That's where you kind of safely use your skill, something like that. So don't think that he doesn't have his counter, and just use your skill, because the chances of you getting counter is 100%. So just prepare before you fight and just be very careful. Next is, take note that Shanks, when they respawn, right, they will usually take advantage of their long range skill, and okay, how Shanks usually fight is they will use their skill 2 before they engage close range. So that's pretty standard because of how disgusting the range is. Then I think honestly this one, so when you kill an opponent, so when you start out the game, right, take note of who is, if there's any people who have Shanks but is not using him as the starting roster. So what you want to do is, when your friends or anything kill off that guy, right, you know he's gonna swap to Shanks. Then that is where, when you wanna move around the map, take note of it, because the chance of him just spawning and using skill 2 is very, very, very high. Then next is this one, where most Shanks will panic counter when they have 1 HP left. So this is kind of a both way thing, because like when you hit a Shanks down to 1 HP, right, a lot of people will just be like, oh, I need to finish this kill. He's 1 HP. I'm just gonna hit him once, and that is where most of the time it leads to a downfall, because he's just gonna counter you and that's it. But here, okay, here just gonna show you how, like, basically what I mean by when Shanks is low HP, they will try to counter. So yeah, you can see the Shanks is super duper low, and he thought I'm gonna attack him, and he tries to counter. I don't get it. Like, he could have just get away, but he didn't get away. So RIP, man. So just kind of take note of that. Then lastly would be when the game is almost finishing, don't let your guard down. So oh my god, this is so rip. Okay, so for the last tip, right, is basically when the game is almost finishing, that's where a lot of people will just be like, oh damn, we're gonna win with like 10 seconds left. They'll be like, oh, there's probably no way they can do it. Then that's where Shanks, oh my god, some of them will just use their skill 2 and they will just wipe your whole team and cap the flag and lose. I'm pretty sure that happens to you guys sometimes, so just take note of that, you know. Then I think that's kind of that for this video, guys. Like, hopefully it sums up on mostly what you need to do against Shanks. Yeah, like, yeah, I don't think there's anything else you should know. Like, if you can know all of this, right, I think you will stand a pretty decent chance against Shanks, to be honest. Then, yeah, I think that's it for this video, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you want to see more One Piece Bounty Rush content. Then, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you!